Thank you so much, Tolashe. Thank you. Thank you. Grand Rising, everybody. Can you all hear me? Am I audible? Okay. Thank you, Tolashe. Thank you for this opportunity and thank you for everything you are doing. I was looking forward to this session actually because it gives us an opportunity to not just rub minds, but to also learn from each other. And that was a great session that we just had. And how you carried people along, you were asking them questions. I need to be as calm as you when I'm speaking. Yeah. So there is still that, that learning process. And I hope that we all get to that place of authenticity. So thank you so much. Grand rising to everybody. Thank you for joining the session. First and foremost, I don't want to forget the Soft Life Journal is a project and a portal that I resonate with a lot. And we're looking forward to the launch of that journal. So that is something everybody should even pre-order, right? The Soft Life Journal is not, introducing you to passiveness. No, is introducing you to frequency over force, essence over effort. Basically, that's what the Soft Life Journal is. So we look forward to the launch of the journal, and I'm very sure that everybody in the community, in our community, in Tolashe's community, would ensure that they get a copy of that when it is released. Now, let's go straight to the business of the day. Ways to wealth. When people think about wealth, when Tolashe was speaking, she mentioned how people sometimes criticize me and say that, are you Dangote? Are you Elon Musk? Dangote doesn't say that. Elon Musk doesn't do that. And the reason they do this or they say this is because they don't understand the dynamics of wealth creation. So they want to manifest wealth like Dangote. They want to be as wealthy as Elon Musk. Nobody will be as wealthy as Elon Musk. Nobody will be as wealthy as Dangote. You would only be as wealthy as your money gate, as who you are. So wealth creation, your ability to create wealth is directly linked to your identity. So you see, Dangote is building wealth at his own level as Dangote. Elon Musk is commanding wealth at his own level as Elon Musk. You are meant to command wealth at your own level as yourself, as who you are. That's why it is called personal economic power. Is your personal economic power. And that is a mindset. So wealth is a mindset. Wealth is not a person. There are people who were, where is Abiola today? Abiola was the richest man in Nigeria at some point. Where is he today? A day is coming that you won't hear of Elon Musk again. You won't hear of Dangote. You're going to hear someone else. It may be you. It doesn't necessarily have to be you. The problem is society has conditioned us to think that wealth creation is about competing with other people. Right. So you see, and that's why people, teachers, coaches, all of these people on social media, they are taking advantage of people's ignorance to inject the illusion of wealth in them, not the reality of wealth. So the majority of people out there, they want to look rich, not that they want to be wealthy. They just want to look wealthy. So the goal is, let me just look wealthy and pretend. You see all this. I have a lot of celebrity friends. So when they tell me that they they need 5 million. I begin to wonder, how can you have 5 million followers on social media? How can you be at this level that they tell you Vicky James made your clothes and the clothes cost 12 million and you did not plan to pay your rent? Because society, through all the dogmas and the big word teaching, the word play that people use, quadruple your net worth, be a multi-billionaire, blah, 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 blah. So they are creating and injecting the illusion of wealth in people, not the reality of wealth. So people will do everything to look rich, not necessarily be rich in reality. They are not rich in reality. They are not wealthy in reality. They cannot supply every of their needs in reality. They have to call and beg and run helter-skelter and cheat and lie and do all of these things. As long as to the public they look healthy, they talk healthy, but they are not healthy in real life. I was telling Ibro about a friend of mine who she travels like every 2 months to anywhere she wants to travel to. If she feels that, okay, I want to go to Peru or I want to go to the Bahamas next month, she can confidently afford that experience without asking anybody for support. Wealth is a place of self-sufficiency. A lot of you are comparing your parents with Dangote, but the same parents sent you to the best of schools. But because they are not on Forbes list, and motivational speakers have told you that everybody should be on Forbes list. Everybody should quadruple their net worth. Everybody should. I want to make sure I lay the foundation so that, and that's why it's difficult for a lot of people to create and build wealth, because they are competing, they are in the rat race. They are competing with people they have no relationship whatsoever with. So they are not able to build their own mindset for wealth. They're not able to engineer their own inner architecture of abundance. It's within you. It starts within you. Wealth is not a place, it's within you. So the first thing is conscious design. You have to consciously design. And what is consciousness? A lot of people have given different meanings to the word consciousness. Let me use Tolashe's approach. Can someone tell us what they understand by consciousness? What does it mean? When you say somebody is conscious, what does it mean? Anybody, you can unmute and share with us briefly. What does it mean to be a conscious person?
Like to be awake.
To be awakened. Well, yeah, that's true. Any other person?
Awareness. When you're aware of yourself.
You're aware of yourself. Yes. Someone else? Awakened, aware.
When you're always ready for anything.
You're always ready for anything. Perfect. Now, let me define. You know what you're made of. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, let us define what consciousness is. Because there are so many people out there who claim that they are in the conscious community, but they don't understand what consciousness is. Right. So what is consciousness? Consciousness is the ability to know, to perceive. We all see, we all look, but perception is key, right? So two people can look at the same thing and have different perceptions, right? 6 and 9, they are almost two different dimensions of the same. So consciousness is the ability to know, to perceive, and then to interpret. These three words are key. To know, to perceive, to interpret events. and patterns. So the journey of consciousness is the journey of knowledge, perception, and the interpretation of events and patterns taking place first within you, and then outside you, meaning around you. So what that means is you know, you perceive, and you can interpret events and patterns taking place within you and then around you. So nothing happens to you by accident because you know, you perceive, and then you can interpret. You can give meanings to the events in your life. One of the perks of adulthood is the ability to articulate whatever is going on in our life. And you know the problem? We have normalized the idea of adults not knowing why they are going through what they are going through. It's now normal. What's going on with you? I don't know. Why is it going? I don't know. What did you do? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So now we think it is normal not to know as an adult, not to perceive, and not to be able to interpret. And now we are now outsourcing this responsibility to prophets, to alphas, to pastors, to shamans, to dibias, to babalawos, to prophets, to do it for us what you are meant to do for yourself. That's what consciousness is. So we are in the times and seasons where everybody is claiming they are spiritually awakened, but they are not conscious. It's not a label. The spiritual work is not a label. It's an identity. It has a purpose. It's based on authentic journey. So the question is, where you are currently. I've heard people who said 5 years ago they were swimming in millions, and now there is nothing. And the first question is, when you were swimming in millions, can you remember how you were living your life? I can't remember. So how do we solve the problem? You can't remember. And because they don't want to put in the work, because remembering is work, you have to think, you have to audit, you have to analyze, you have to examine, and people they want someone else to do that for them. And to engineer the inner architecture of abundance and wealth, you must consciously design. And you can't design in the present if you don't go back to the past to kind of investigate. Because there are people who they have never been rich, understandable. There are people who they used to be rich. I get them before, no be property. But they used to, they then get them before, right? So the study of the trajectory of your life, the exercise of an ancestral audit, personal audit. Who were the people I was hanging around 5 years ago when I had money? When did I stop hanging around them? Who are the people I'm hanging around now? You know, the interesting thing is the majority of people actually think that spirituality is for lazy people. No, it is not for lazy people. It's more demanding than religion. Spirituality is real work, because you almost have to do everything for yourself. Now, you no longer have somebody you refer to as your spiritual covering. So how are you going to be covered? So you see people switch from I'm no longer religious, I am now spiritual. But you know the meaning of that? I used to, be under laws, do this and do that. Now I am lawless. Now I can do anything I want because I'm now spiritual. And that's not spirituality, because everything, the spiritual and the material world, they are governed by laws. So engineering the inner architecture of abundance means you must consciously design following this pattern. Know, perceive, interpret events taking place within you and patterns. You cannot overemphasize these patterns. It could be ancestral patterns. It could be patterns that you created by yourself through your actions and inactions. It could be. Your goal is to interpret them. If you first, I like what Jesus said in the Bible. He said, it is not what comes into a person that corrupts or defiles them. It is what goes outside of them. So meaning you must first deal with what is inside. So the majority of people out there, they want to address external entities, external events, what's going on in the country, the economy, Tinumbu, this and that. But there are events and patterns going on within you that is not making you elevate your consciousness and yourself to a place of self-sufficiency. The way to wealth is self-examination. Self-examination. Because it leads to self-sufficiency. Because this is the principle that would create lasting wealth and prosperity. So you see a lot of people, not that they have always been poor. They can be millionaire. Someone can be a millionaire in 2025, but by 2026, they are broke. 2027, they will become a millionaire. 2028, they are broke. 2020, so patterns, because they have not been able to build the structures and the infrastructures necessary to sustain wealth. Because every wealth they have built was built by accident. It was not built on knowledge. It was not built on perception. It was not built on wisdom, on understanding, on learning. Next, living intentionally. Living intentionally. You cannot, the way to wealth is not by prophecy. Prophecies are good. I'm not undermining the place of prophecy, right? But the way to wealth is not by prophetic utterance. No. You are the engineer and you are the architect. You are the engineer. So the first thing, rewriting limiting beliefs about money. Nobody can do that for you. So people can prophesy over your life and spit on you, on your head. If you are not rewriting the limiting beliefs going on within you, in your microcosmic universe, in your personal ecosystem, if you don't commit to rewriting those limiting beliefs about money, about your self-worth, about success, it doesn't matter the prophecy. Let all the great men of God or men of God come together and prophesy. Nothing is going to happen. Except you steal, or you rob, or you scam. So rewriting limiting beliefs. Write that down, number one. Rewriting limiting beliefs. Number two, understanding your identity. Understanding any battle you fight from the place of identity is guaranteed victory. You are going to win any battle you fight from the place of self-awareness. That's why I love what Niccolo Machiavelli, or who said it, said, know the enemy and you need not fear 1,000 battles. But he said, before knowing the enemy, know yourself. The Greeks would say, man, know thyself. So when you know yourself, then you know the enemy. Then you need not fear 1,000 battles. Because any battle you fight from the place of self-awareness and identity, you are going to win. So upgrading your identity to match the version of the you that naturally attracts and sustains wealth. There are a lot of people, they have very wrong identity. Their identity is not matching up to the version of them that wants to naturally attract and sustain wealth. In numerology, we have something called your day of birth number. And that is your identity. And it shows your characteristics, your character traits, right? Is your nature. And you are meant to nurture that nature because your identity is an energy center. is a money gate, right? I see there are 5 of them, 5 money gates. Let's go to that. Because you have 5 energy centers, right? And there are 5 money gates. Number 1 is your identity, which is your nature, which is who are you? Who are you? I am not talking about I am the head and not the tail. No. Everybody is it. Nobody wants to say they are the tail. Everybody is the head and not the tail. I am a royal priesthood. No. That's not what that's not your identity. That's a cliche generic explanation for when people want to brag about who they are. Who are you? And numerology offers the tools, the ancient, universal, esoteric tools that helps you to know who you are by virtue of the day you were born, and then you can use that as the tool to nurture that nature. A person's day of birth can be 10. You were born on the 10th. So that's 1, for instance. Meaning that your nature is the nature of a natural leader. Someone who is independent. Someone who is innovative. So that is a tool. So now that you know that that is your identity, you nurture that nature because it is a money gate. Because listen, money is not cash. No. Money is not cryptocurrency. Money is energy. Money is dark energy. I will give you the hidden riches of dark places. That's what it says. All of this www.com we are doing, the real money is passing through dark web every day. The kind of money, offshore accounts, dark web that none of us is aware of. So you see, the billionaires and the elites, they usually make sure they have more than 1 citizenship. Do you know why they do that? Some of them have up to 5. It's so that they can sustain their wealth. Because different countries have different policies when it comes to economy. So money is currency, movement of energy, energy flow. Is frequency, is vibrational, is energetic. It is not cash. So number 3, aligning your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions with the frequencies of abundance. That's number 3. Now, before we go to number 3, let me do this. Identity, money gate. Number 2, your purpose. So keep number 3 so that I don't forget. Aligning your emotions. We'll leave that here, number 3. So let's deal with this. Your purpose, which is your assignment. Right? Your why. Why are you here? That's a money gate. Let me tell you something about the first one, your identity, your nature, who you are. Do you know that you don't necessarily have to be paid for what you do? You can also be paid for who you are. I hope you know that people are getting paid for who they are. There are people who draw you close to them to work with, not necessarily because of what you do. Fine, you are competent and excellent. They are not just paying you for work done. They are paying you for your beingness. Just because of who you are, that's why they are paying you. So your identity is a money gate. That's a solid, legal, credible way to wealth. Nurturing my nature. Because if you don't nurture your nature, you're going to starve it. Nature abhors vacuum, right? So you are either nurturing your nature or you are starving your nature. And when you starve your nature, you're going to become an imposter. So you're going to start having challenging expression of your authentic energy field. So rather than being a confident person, you're going to be timid. So you can't say, I am not confident, so I am nothing. No, you can't be nothing. You have to be something. So there are people who would do business with you because you have the nature of a trustworthy, confident person. They know that you can move mountains. There may be people who can move mountains faster and better than you. But in your own case, it's because of your nature. The way you move mountains is different from how they move mountains. You see, in the marketplace, this is why a person that has discovered their identity money gate you can't compete with them. You are going to fail. Because nobody can beat you at being you. Yeah. So the first thing they have to compete with is your beingness, your essence. And that takes us to number 2, like I said, purpose, assignment. Why are you here? So what do you do with your purpose? You pursue your purpose. Purpose is meant to be pursued. Your nature is meant to be nurtured. Your purpose is meant to be pursued. And if you don't pursue your purpose, be rest assured that a lot of people have their different assignments to give you. You will be preoccupied with other people's life and assignment and work. That your own garden will be bushy whilst you tend other people's garden. So I'm not saying don't collaborate. I'm not saying don't do your best and make sacrifices and commit. There is a place of partnership and collaboration. But it should not be at the expense of pursuing your purpose, because your purpose is your ruling energy money gates. When purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. That's why, in numerology, your purpose combines your identity, which is your day of birth. It combines your month of birth. It combines your year of birth, right? That's why it's your ruling energy field and your ruling money gate. The day you discover your purpose or you remember your purpose, because listen, we are here to discover not necessarily anything new, so that we can remember who we are and what our assignment is, because you came here with your purpose. So you're not discovering something new. You were born with your identity, your nature. You were born with your purpose, your assignment. So your goal is not that you are discovering something new. You discover to remember. Now, takes us to number 3. No, not this number 3. Number 3 in your energy field. That is your destiny energy center, which is your expression. So this is who are you? This is why are you here? This is how, your strategy, right? Not just strategy, also your stratagems. How do I nurture my nature whilst pursuing my purpose? That's your destiny. It's an energy center. It's a money gate. How you do the things you do, right? That sets you apart from other people. Is your recipe for destiny. Is your recipe for life. Is a way to wealth. What makes Messi Messi that Ronaldo can never copy or duplicate? What makes Ronaldo Ronaldo that Messi can never copy or duplicate? Both footballers, 2 of the greatest footballers in history, doing the same thing, but vibrating different frequencies that are unique to each of them. That's their destiny. So it doesn't end at your nature. It doesn't end at your purpose. How is very important. And that's why in numerology, you can change your how just by changing your name. I'm not saying change your name. I'm just using this as an example to explain to you. Because you can't change your identity, your nature. You can only nurture it. You can't change your assignment or purpose. You can only pursue it. But you can change how. So you see, people are trying to change their nature. They are trying to transgender into something else. People are trying to change their purpose, chasing clouds and pursuing shadows. But they want to keep the how. And the how is the first thing that you are meant to change. Rearranging your philosophy. Number 4, energy center, money gates, your soul urge. What do you do with your destiny, your how, your strategy, your stratagem? You sharpen your strategies. Your strategy is your sword. That's your sword. That's your Achilles sword. That's your Achilles sword. Let me tell you something about that. When Alexander the Great went to the temple of Achilles, and entering the temple, he saw Achilles' sword and armor. And he took the sword and he shouted and said, "Today I have become immortal." That's what he said. I have become what? I have become immortal. Just because he discovered Achilles' sword, right? But after discovering Achilles' sword, every battle Alexander the Great fought, he did not use Achilles' sword. He used his own sword. So you cannot win any battle using someone else's sword. You can celebrate people's sword. It looks so shiny, so sharp, so good. Wow, celebrate people and all that. But you cannot use their sword to fight your own battle. You must find a smith. They must design your own sword. You see how warriors back then, these guys, for instance, the Vikings, you are nothing without your sword. The Icelandic men, a person is nothing without their sword. Right. So you are nothing without your destiny. One of the quotes in one of the books I read about Alexander the Great, it says that people, I'm going to rephrase it, people are running helter-skelter, thinking they can run away from their destiny. The meaning of that is you are running away from your strategies, using other people's strategies to fight your own battle. You are nothing without your sword. The nature can be right. The purpose can be right. But if the expression is wrong, everything is wrong. If how you do what you do is wrong, then everything is wrong. What people don't like about you is your expression, not your nature, not your purpose. When people see you, they don't even see your nature, they don't see your purpose. They are seeing your house, how you talk, how you move. I've had people who told me, I really like that guy, he's intelligent, I like what he says, but I just don't like him. What they don't like is your expression. And your expression is a major energy center. It's a money gate. A man is nothing without his sword. The Vikings. So when a Viking dies in battle, they can even beg their enemies, please give us a sword. He must be buried with his sword. Because with your sword, even in death, you are a hero. With your sword, even in death, you are a hero. This is why it is important to pay a lot of attention. Do you have strategies for your life? This book of the law shall not depart from thy mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night. And then you shall make your way prosperous. And then you will have good success. You by yourself, you will develop the strategies and the stratagems to make your way, not God. God will not make your way prosperous. You by yourself will develop the way to wealth. So I have meditated, I've done everything, and now it is time to now, by virtue of intuition, intuitive knowledge, inspired thoughts and inspired words, I now have to design and architecture the next 12 months of my life. What are the things I want to do? That's it. That's your strategy. So you have people they don't have any strategy. They live their lives to chance. So the strategy is meant to be sharpened. We have, after this month, after June, we have 6 months left for the year to come to an end. And now, the year is tricking you to thinking that it is over. A lot of people are being tricked now that it is over. There's nothing you can do again. Just pack it up. But listen, you can have a 6 month strategy. That's why this masterclass was organized. It is the way to wealth. And you are the one that would architecture, you would engineer your way to wealth by intuition, by inspired action. When you surrender to infinite intelligence, when you surrender to God, is soft life, is frequency over force, is energy over effort, is essence over struggle, right? And then soul urge, what your soul truly wants. So you are meant to function. That's an energy gate. You are meant to function from the office of your soul. What does your soul truly want? That's number 4. And then number 5, you have your personality energy center. So you see all these 3 numbers, they deal with your expression, your destiny, your how, your soul urge, your function, your personality, the impression you create in people, your aura, right? Do you know your product creates an aura? Your brand is an aura. Your business is a portal. Your service is an aura. People can literally feel the aura of your product because the only legitimate means to wealth is through work, the work of your hand. It is when you contribute to the marketplace that you become legitimately qualified to have access to wealth through other means, and then you can get gifts. The same way America has gotten a free private jet, presidential jet from Qatar. They didn't have to pay any money for it. So Qatar gave America a presidential jet, not because America did anything for Qatar, but because of what America represents. Now, if America was just lackadaisical, passive, and somewhere, America wouldn't have qualified for that. They won't give a jet to Nigeria. Because what does Nigeria represent to Qatar? They didn't give a jet to Russia. Russia is just as powerful as America. So it's not about what they do, it's about what does America represent to us now. So your personality, what impression do you leave in people? What impression do you leave in people? And these are your 5 energy centers. Listen, even if I don't say anything today, if this is all I've said, and you take number 1, your identity, your nature, nurture your nature, you take your purpose, pursue your purpose, you take your destiny, you sharpen your strategy, you take your soul urge, you function from the office of your soul, and then your personality, you develop the right personality. If this is all you can get from this session, because see, we don't have to fill your head with all the information. You just need something. You need your own rema, like the Christians will say. Now, let me close with a page from my book, because it is going to summarize everything I'm saying. And is page 116, 22. Becoming more. Becoming more. Becoming more. In the words of Lao Tzu, becoming is the secret of being. So, and I've said it, there are 3 unique birth codes in numerology: your day of birth, your life path, your destiny number, and I've explained all that. Now, the recipe for your destiny, which I mentioned, Messi and Ronaldo, what comes to mind? What makes Messi who he is that Ronaldo can never copy or duplicate? What makes Ronaldo who he is that Messi can never copy or duplicate? It is the Coca-Cola recipe that has made Coca-Cola withstand the test of time. You know how many products are trying to be like Coca-Cola? There are some products in Nigeria right now that there are some products that looks like Coke, something cola, something. Everybody is struggling, but they don't have the recipe. It's the same thing with you. You have a recipe for wealth. You have a recipe for success. Your goal is not to be as wealthy as Dangote. It's to be as wealthy as everything you have within you. That's it. So the people who are always coming to shout, "Are you rich like Dangote?" They are the most ignorant. Because they are not even as rich as the person they are criticizing. They want to be rich. They are not even as rich as the gate man in their estate. Pepsi has tried several times to be like Coke. It's impossible. You know, in business, there's something called competitive advantage. So you see, Coke does not compete with Pepsi. Coke is competing with water. Yeah. So you see, in their branding, you have a bottle of Coke. Do you have a bottle of Pepsi? No. They put, bottle of, they know that if you want to eat, all you want to have with you is water. So they show you an image of amala, begiri, ewedu, and a bottle of Coke. They are trying to replace, playing on your imagination and subconscious, that you should replace water with Coke, not with Pepsi. They are not at the same level. The problem with a lot of you, you are Coke competing with Pepsi. There is no competitive advantage competing with Pepsi if you are Coke. Your competitive advantage is competing with water. And that's not even a competition. Replacement, that's what it is. Blue ocean strategy. So your recipe for destiny is a part of you that people can't copy or explain. They can't explain it. And people are usually frustrated when they can't copy or explain, They don't understand. They want to do what you are doing, but they can't do it like you. They can't copy it. It is your being and essence that makes you live, work, talk, and exist the way you do. Nobody can beat you at being you. I've said that. And the only way to escape competition is to nurture this part of you. And you must discover that part of you because you came here with it. You have forgotten. Life made you forget. Childhood trauma. You were not born a clean slate. You were born with all the tools and resources and data that you need to power your life, this incarnate existence. But you have forgotten. You were beaten as a child to the point where you forgot your divine childlikeness. You forgot it. So you are meant to remember, because the key to unlock your wealth code is in your childlikeness, your childhood, your divine childhood. That's where it is. When you discover, develop, and deploy this recipe in your day-to-day life, you become immortal. It is your enigma. It is what makes you immortal, right? Now, I'm about to close. Most people pay attention to what they do than to who they are or who they are becoming. Have you noticed that? They fine-tune what they do, not who they are. So they sound angry, egocentric, offensive last year. They want to build a brand, or they have a product or service. Their character has not metamorphosed. Who they are, that they have capacity to drive. You have the capacity to become who you are meant to become, because it is beingness, human becoming. The goal is to become who you truly are. That's why it's called human being. Becoming the human that you are. But because they pay more attention to the product, to the service, to what they are saying, than to who they are becoming, they put more effort to prove a point. So what happens to them is they do more, whilst they command results that are not commensurate with their efforts. That's it. The antidote to living an average life and commanding less results is to become more of who you are. You are meant to become more of who you are every day. That's the whole purpose of the Soft Life Journal. Yes, is promoting essence. Essence. The hustle culture is a scam. Know that now. The hustle culture is a scam. Hard work is a scam. Work is work. You are meant to do what is necessary. You are meant to function from the place of intuition, of alignment. When you are in alignment with your soul, you will not work and be tired and be stressed out. You will be productive, yet you don't do as much as other people. Some people need to do what they do to command the result they are commanding. It doesn't mean you have to do what you do. Forget all these lies that people come and tell you. They sleep for only 3 hours. Not lie. Albert Einstein was sleeping for 10 hours every day, right? Generations yet unborn will remember his name. Most people, the life they live on.
Okay, so if you have any thoughts, any aha moments, or anything that you want to share with everybody, feel free to unmute yourself and share your aha moments with everyone. I know you've got something out of today's session, and the next is Hall of Fame. We didn't do that today; it's just taking a picture of everybody. And very big thank you from Aunty. It's been a journey, and I know, the way to wealth is not like it's continuous. There's something we call, I don't know if you know about it, Kaizen and Kaikaku. The Kaizen is just, continuous improvement. But the Kaikaku is that sudden shift, and I know something has happened for you today. Thank you all so much for joining in, and I look forward to you joining in other sessions we have. FJ, we have a big community there. I've got my own community too. So if anything pops up, we'll let you know. And lastly, I would like to drop it that the Soft Life Journal will be ready for pre-order, but not today, but maybe in 2 days' time. But I have the link. I will drop it in the comment section. So if you want to get a copy, you'll get a copy from there. So I don't know what happened to my network just now. It just froze on me, but if you can still hear me, that's okay. Let me see if I can drop it in the comment section and we'll wrap it up from there. Thank you all. And if there's any, Eric, nah, you're raising up your hands. Is there anything you want to share with me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good day. I want to use this opportunity to say a big thanks to yourself and our coach for today, and together with everybody who joined. I have been a blessed in joining this meeting. And to say what I want to say, I was pleased with that. And with everything you have said, most especially to you, my boss, friend Jamal, I want us to have just a single, book or a single outlet, basically on the 5 energy centers we have, so that we can start shaping, our day-to-day activities. I realize that everything we are talking about is being centered within all the 5 energy centers, precision to do, and I'm much grateful for that. So for us not to be distorted, we should have a single, outlet out there based on the 5 energy centers, so that we can use it doing everything we want to do in becoming the best of ourselves. I'm not grateful. Thank you.
Any other comments before we round off? We're bang on time. So if there's any other comments, you can put up your hands or you can unmute yourself and share before we call it a close, and I'll see you on your way to work. All right, guys. Thank you, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Bye.